Alright guys, I guess before I get way too involved in this video without you guys knowing exactly what I'm doing here, what I have done is I have sprayed. This is a really brushy wood plot. It's grown up in grasses and things like that. It used to be a beautiful clover plot, and it's been neglected for 2 or 3 years now, and the grasses and weeds have taken over. I sprayed it with a product called Novagraze, and what Novagraze does is it actually kills all the weeds and leaves the clover. So it kills weeds, leaves clover. Novagraze, 180 bucks for a couple of gallons. All right, then I went back over it and I sprayed over it with and you know, a lot of people are going to say, well, you shouldn't have done that. I sprayed over it with clethodim. Okay, clethodim actually kills grass and leaves broadleafs. So I'm hoping that what I've done is I've killed the grass, I've killed all the weeds except clover. So I'm hoping everything out there that's left alive after this is going to be clover. Then right now I'm getting ready to I've got a spreader on the back of the tractor right here. It's a cone spreader, and I've got wheat, I've got rye grain, and I've got buck forage oats. It's got a hole in it there somehow. And then I've got, a little late for it, but I've got radishes. Not too late for this though. This Durana white clover. So I'm getting ready to spread this seed. I'm not only going to do it here, but I've got another spot back here, back in the woods that I have actually sprayed to. It's a little triangle plot. I call it triangle plot. Then the area where I was doing all the dozer work over here, I'm getting ready to spread seed on all that too. Just to put something green on it and draw more deer in here. So anyway, let's get started. Start off with some wheat. Put a little clover in. Clover is a very fine seed, so a little bit goes a long way. Some more wheat. Rye grain. And as I bounce around, this stuff will mix. More clover. Some buck forage oats. And some more rye grain. So you notice I'm not putting out turnips yet. They're going to go in that tilled ground over there where I've used the dozer. Start with this. rest of it. What I can see in here right now, all mixed together, I can see some of the clover, I can see the rye grain, I can see the buck forage oats, and I can see wheat. So it's mixing real well, just me driving around. Now I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you got to spread seed by size. You know, you got to go over it once with your wheat, once over it with your rye grain, once over it with your clover. Nah, you don't have to do that. This is radishes. I'm putting some radishes in here since we've got some tillage. Forage oats. $44 a bag for this. Because you can never have too much wheat. More wheat. And as I said, a little clover goes a long way. And some more radishes. Alright, let's get the rest of it spread. I'm going to pull the loader bucket off because it's too heavy. Alright, now that I've got the seed spread all across all over here and everything in this bare ground, I've got a special way of actually packing it in. And that special way is right here. Let's get busy. Contact. I've got about 3/4 of it all packed out right here. I'll finish up the rest of that over there on the other side. Probably later this evening or tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you how this is all going to work on the food plot. Let me get over there and show you. Alright, the way this is going to work out here, I'm in a food plot right now, is you can see a little bit of clover still out here. It's very small and stuff like that. It's what's still alive, and that's going to stay alive because of the herbicide that I used. Now what I'm going to do is I've actually seeded all this. Now I'm going to bring the brush hog out here. I'm going to brush hog all this stuff down over it. I've sprayed it, so everything is going to die except the clover. And then we'll have wheat, rye grain, we'll have some turnips, we'll have our buck forage oats, and some more clover come in when it's all said and done. So yeah, I'll brush hog all this down over it, and that'll create a thatch over it, and that'll give it the opportunity that holds moisture, and that'll give it the opportunity for it to germinate, and we will have a food plot again this year. So anyway, it's early September right now. All right, here we are on the final part of the food plots here on Gillen Farm. So what I'm doing is I've got my brush hog hooked up. Of course, I bought it at an auction. Good job. Saved a lot of money doing that. So I've got my brush hog all hooked up, and I'm getting ready to, I've spread seed all over all this. Now I'm getting ready to run over it with the brush hog, knock all the thatch down. What that'll do is cover the seed. It keeps moisture around the seed, helps the seed germinate, and yeah, the last part of my spray, throw, and mow. And then after that, we'll see if it greens up. Let's get busy. Alright guys, this is one of the plots I was working on. This is one I sprayed and then flung seed into, and now I've mowed it. But I wanted to show you what the premise is. The premise is the thatch. So what you do is, while it's still standing, you spray it, of course, with your herbicide, and that's to kill it. And then you come over it and you spread seed through it like I did with a cone spreader. So I spread seed through here with the cone spreader. Then you come in and you mow it. You mow it down over it. And what that does is that does a couple of things. That shakes the seed down toward the ground with the brush hog coming over it and blowing and everything else, and raking it and rattling it. So, but anyway, and here's the thatch. So the seed is all under there. The seed gets down into there. There's some of the seed right there. Right there is one of the seeds that I put out. So it's all under that thatch now. And all this stuff will die except for what I planted. So yeah, we'll come back later and we'll see what it's like. We'll see how it greens up. But I did this plot and I did the big plot, which is back through the woods over here. And then I did the other one, which is where I was using the dozer. And that's because I'm not going to be able to move the cattle up here before fall. So it'll probably be spring before the cattle come. And I might as well have something growing on it and attracting deer. So that's what it's for. So anyway, I'll come back and I'll show you what it's like whenever it's greening up. Alright guys, I thought I'd come down here, kind of walk out here and show you guys what's been going on with this. You know, I started clearing all this property for the cattle and stuff like that. Well, guess what? We ran up into, I've got a lot of projects going on. I had to stop on that. I needed to cover the ground and I wanted to have a food plot out here. So I got a mosquito right here. Anyway. So anyway, I wanted to, it's 90 degrees out here, by the way. So I wanted to actually make one a ground cover, so I actually seeded everything that I took out with the dozer, and also did some other stuff out here. So I'm going to show you how it's turned out so far. So anyway, right over here is the area where I was clearing with the dozer, and let's look and see what has happened with it. Oh, we've only gotten one rain since I did this as well here. We've gotten rain other places, just not here. But anyway. Alright, here's the dozer sitting here. The dozer making a nice blind for deer hunting later. I was looking around to see which tree that I would want to put a stand in, and I might put a stand in this tree right here. I might put one right there to overlook all this right here, because it's got some cover in front of it and stuff like that. So that's a possibility, and it's real easy to get to off the road right here, off my little road. All right, this is the actual plot. This is where I cleared all with the dozer. It all turned out really nice. It's pretty smooth. And to show you that the rocks are actually growing stuff, here's what's growing in it right now. There's some radishes, there's a bunch of wheat, there's some oats, there is some winter rye grain. So there's a little bit of everything out here, and I packed it all in with the dozer, and you saw that in the video. So yeah, radishes are starting to pop up. There's a deer track right there. So yeah, the deer are definitely in here. I'll throw in a couple of pictures of deer in this plot. We're starting to get a little clover even popping up. There's a little bit of clover coming in there as well from the clover that I put in here. So yep, it's starting to turn out. Clover. So if we could just get some rain, it would be really nice. But this is this part, and I'll take you and show you some of the other ones. All right, I wanted to show you this area right here as well. This is right where I was burning that dozer pile. So you probably saw the dozer pile burning, and you can see the ash and stuff like that in there. But I turned this into a radish plot. There's also some wheat and stuff like that in here, but there's a lot of radish in here. So yeah, this is a forage radish, and this is where I did that dozer work, and it's all smoothed out, and now it's got radishes growing all over it. So, and it's right over there is the actual food plot itself. You can really see the greenery across there. That's where I cleared all that land. So anyway, let's go up here and see if the brush hog area did any good, which was what we call throw and mow. Let's go see if that did anything at all. All right, this is the first plot. This is throw and mow out here. So what I did was I sprayed it, and then I actually threw seed into it with the used the cone spreader and put seed in here, and then I brush hogged everything down over it, and you can see it all coming up in there. Radishes, there's wheat and rye, there's clover coming in. So it is coming in, but it's not really coming on like it should yet. There's still some grass in it because I missed like this little patch right here. I missed a little spot right there. I missed, you know, a couple of spots out there with the sprayer, but the plot itself is starting to come around. But the problem is we just don't have enough rain. So it being so dry, it's not really showing all that well yet. So I expect it to be a pretty good spot to hunt. I mean, it's right here next to everything else. I expect it to be all right. There is, like I said, quite a bit of stuff out here, and there's a lot less. There used to be a lot of horse nettle in here, and it's gone. We sprayed it out, killed it. You can see all that right here. That's horse nettle and stuff like that, and it's basically gone. Anyway, we got a blind right over there, and got a nice stand over there. We got a nice stand over there. So yeah, it ought to turn out. Let's look at the next one, the next area. All right, guys, this is the last throw and mow plot. The stuff was quite a bit taller in here, and I came through here and spread the seed through it. You can see that in the video. And then yeah, I missed a little spot right here with the spray, but it's all right. But yeah, this stuff is starting to come in. Like I said, lack of rain has been our biggest nemesis out here. Looks like there's been a lot of turkeys in here because they've been kicking it all up and looking for the seed, which tends to be a problem. But that green down in there, that's all stuff I planted. Everything that's green that's coming up right there, that's all wheat and rye grain and stuff like that. So it is coming in. It's not showing real well yet. But like I said, it's because no rain. So anyway, that's all stuff I planted, and it's wheat, places where turkeys been digging around in here and stuff. So anyway, yep, this is turning into a little plot. Hopefully we'll get some more rain and this will come on. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the one thing that's actually helping our food plot survive. I'll show you that here, and just as far as the deer not just taking everything out right away, I'll show you that right now. All right, guys, right here is the number one thing that is keeping our food plot from just being wiped out by the deer immediately. I mean, because there's a large deer population here, and they would wipe it out. And I'm going to show you right here. Look at this, guys. Those are white oak acorns. And our property is loaded in white oak trees, big white oak trees. So what's happening is all these acorns are falling. The deer are on these acorns. I mean, they're just everywhere like this. So they're all on these acorns and stuff like that. So they're not really all that onto the plot and the stuff like that right now. They will be later, but right now it's all about the acorns. All right, So I can tell you right now that seed to soil contact is the best way you can do this. This is what's packed in with the dozer right here. I mean, there's no comparison. The throw and mow, you know, will work in places where you can't do tillage and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, if you can get that seed in the dirt and get it actually packed in, and I use the dozer tracks to pack it in, then you're going to come up with a lot better plot. But if you cannot do that where you are, if you're not allowed to do anything with disturb the soil or anything, then throw and mow is what you need to do. So if you like this video, then like, comment, subscribe, and we'll continue to bring more content in the future as available. And as always, everybody, God bless.